All right. Ready to dive into some ancient, like seriously ancient rituals
Oh, yeah.
and laws? Because today we're going deep into the book of Leviticus,
Always a good time.
chapters 16 through 18 to be exact.
Okay.
You've got excerpts from these chapters.
Right.
And trust me, they are way more interesting than you might think at first glance.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about rituals that were like practically hardwired into the fabric of this society.
It's true. These chapters give us this incredible look, a snapshot, almost at the time when, like, the spiritual and the everyday were practically inseparable, you know?
Right.
It wasn't just about, like, following the rules.
Right.
It was about maintaining a connection with the divine in, like, every single aspect of life.
Okay, so let's jump right into it. Leviticus 16. This whole concept of Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about you, but Day of Atonement, it sounds kind of intense, right?
It does have a certain, yeah.
Like ancient New Year's resolutions on steroids.
That's actually a very apt description.
Right.
Yom Kippur was all about confronting,
Yeah.
like, transgressions,
Yes.
acknowledging the stuff-ups,
Right.
and not just individually, but as a whole community.
Right.
And so you have the high priest, Aaron, at the heart of this.
Right.
Leviticus 16 lays out his whole role in, like, meticulous detail.
Okay.
The cleansing, the sacrifices, entering the Holy of Holies.
It's like very vivid.
It's this incredibly vivid portrait of a man
Yeah.
who is bridging this gap between humanity and the divine.
You know, what really gets me about all of this, like what I really, really get stuck on is this whole scapegoat thing.
Oh, yeah.
This image of this goat just carrying away the sins of the entire community, being sent off into the wilderness.
Into the wilderness, yeah.
Talk about a powerful visual.
It is incredibly potent, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you hit on something really crucial there.
Okay.
The goat wasn't seen as inherently evil,
Right.
but rather this vessel that was carrying away impurities,
Yeah.
like a reset button
Yes. Yeah.
for the community.
Wow.
I think it's so interesting because you see this idea
Yeah.
of projecting blame or anxieties onto something else.
Yeah.
And it's not just an ancient practice.
Right.
We still do that today all the time
Wow. You're right.
in different ways.
That's really deep, actually, when you think about it. We haven't really shaken off that need for a scapegoat,
No.
even if it's more figurative these days.
Yeah, exactly.
So we've got the scapegoat.
Yeah.
But Leviticus 16 also goes into these other rituals too.
Yes.
The cleansing of the high priest, the incense, the sprinkling of blood.
It's very,
It sounds like a movie, honestly.
it does, doesn't it?
It sounds like something out of a movie.
All this ceremony.
All this meticulous ceremony, yeah.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't just about, like, randomly going through the motions.
Right.
Every single action,
Yeah.
the type of animal that was sacrificed,
Uh-huh.
where the blood was sprinkled, even the direction they faced.
Oh, wow.
It was all part of this carefully constructed system, a way of communicating with the divine
Right.
and maintaining this sense of harmony within the community
With the divine, yeah.
and with the divine.
Right.
Think of it like a carefully crafted language.
Yeah.
And every single gesture carries this very deep significance.
It's like their own spiritual code.
It is.
Right. Each action loaded with meaning.
Exactly.
Now, Leviticus 17 takes a bit of a turn, wouldn't you say?
It does.
It's like it has a bit of a thing about blood.
It does, doesn't it?
It's almost like fixated on it a little bit.
Yeah. But there's a reason.
All right.
Leviticus 17.11
Okay.
lays it out pretty clearly. The life of the flesh is in the blood.
Okay.
So they saw this direct connection
Right.
between blood and life itself.
Yes.
And this wasn't just symbolic or poetic or anything. This reflected a deep understanding that they had
Uh-huh.
of blood's vital role in sustaining life.
Okay.
And these rules, in a way, what they were doing
Yeah.
was instilling this reverence for the sanctity of life itself.
Now, animal sacrifice, that wasn't exactly unique to the Israelites.
No, not at all.
Plenty of ancient cultures practiced it.
Lots of them.
So what's with all the like really specific instructions surrounding it in this text?
Right.
What does that tell us?
That's where it gets really interesting because these weren't just about like appeasing some deity, right?
Right.
These rules, they had ripple effects throughout their whole society.
Really?
Oh, yeah. We're talking about regulating behavior, establishing this sense of order,
Wow.
even promoting hygiene.
Hold on, wait. regulating behavior and promoting hygiene through animal sacrifice.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta be honest. That's a connection I never would have made.
Well, think about it.
Okay.
Take, for example, the prohibition against consuming blood.
Okay.
On the one hand,
Yeah.
it's this ritualistic observance,
Right.
but it also served this very practical purpose.
Okay.
Food safety.
Oh,
Right.
right. Okay.
Like, without modern preservation methods,
Yeah. Yeah.
consuming blood could be downright dangerous.
That's true.
So this rule acted as kind of like a built-in health code.
Oh, wow.
It's incredible how these beliefs
Yeah.
wove their way into the most practical aspects of their lives.
That's amazing.
Isn't it fascinating?
Yeah, it's like these rules were just woven into the very fabric of their existence. And speaking of which, there's this one little detail that I find so interesting. It's so specific
It's that.
about covering spilled blood with dirt.
Oh, right. Yeah.
It's so specific.
Yeah.
It's like this little tiny glimpse into their everyday lives, you know?
It really is.
Like you're finding a little piece of a much larger puzzle.
It is fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah. So we've gone from the elaborate rituals of Yom Kippur
Yes.
to the significance of blood, the very essence of life itself.
Right.
What's next on this journey through Leviticus?
Well, now we're about to go into some territory that might feel a little closer to home,
Okay.
even if it's thousands of years removed.
Okay.
Get ready to explore the laws concerning relationships
Okay.
as we unpack Leviticus 18.
All right.
And be prepared,
Okay.
because this is where those modern sensibilities might clash a bit
Okay.
with the ancient world.
I'm ready.
All right.
You're telling me these laws about relationships in Leviticus 18,
Yeah.
they really make you stop and think.
They do.
It's like we're getting a glimpse into a totally different world.
Right.
So how do we even begin to understand these rules
Right.
without, like, judging them by our 21st century values?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Right.
It's so easy to fall into that trap
Yeah.
of judging based on like our modern values.
Yeah.
But honestly, that's not going to help us
Right.
understand the why behind these laws.
Right. Right.
A better approach
Okay.
might be to ask,
Yeah.
what purpose do these rules serve in their society?
Okay.
What were they actually trying to achieve?
Okay. So less judging, more understanding the context.
Exactly.
So what are some of the possible reasons behind these laws then?
Well, imagine this.
Okay.
You're living in a time when clans and tribes are like the bedrock of society.
Okay.
Clear lines of inheritance, knowing who's who within a family structure.
Yeah.
It was crucial
Right.
for preventing conflicts, maintaining order.
Right.
These laws,
Yep.
they helped establish those boundaries.
It makes sense that maintaining order would be a really big deal.
Oh, absolutely.
And when I look at the specific prohibitions listed,
Right.
some of them, like the rules against incest,
Right.
those are still very much taboo today, obviously.
Of course, yeah.
But then there are others, like the rule about a man marrying two sisters.
Yeah.
That really highlights how different their world was from ours, especially when it comes to women's roles.
Yeah.
It feels very patriarchal.
It does.
It's like a time when women were often seen as property.
You're absolutely right. These laws definitely reflect that patriarchal structure.
Yeah.
And it's important to remember that these chapters are addressed to the whole community,
Yeah.
not just one gender.
Okay, that's a good point.
So while they reflect the power dynamics of the time,
Right.
they also aim to regulate male behavior as well.
Right. So it wasn't just about controlling women.
Exactly.
It was about setting boundaries for everyone.
For everyone, exactly.
It's interesting, though, how this theme of purity and holiness
Yes.
seems to keep popping up.
It does, doesn't it?
We saw it with the Day of Atonement rituals.
Right.
And it's definitely here in Leviticus 18.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like, they're really big on this idea of purity.
Yes. If you look at Leviticus 18.24,
Okay.
there's a very clear warning
Yeah.
against defiling oneself
Okay.
or the land
Right.
through these forbidden acts.
Okay.
And this whole concept of purity,
Yeah.
it's not just about physical cleanliness.
Right.
It's about spiritual purity,
Yeah.
moral purity, even ritual purity.
It's like a whole other level.
It's about maintaining this state of holiness
Yeah.
in their relationship with the divine.
It's amazing how these rules, even though they seem strange at first,
Right.
they tell us so much about a society.
They really do.
It's like they were wrestling with the same questions we ask today.
Exactly.
How to live together,
Yeah.
how to relate to each other,
It's all there.
how to define what's secret.
It's fascinating.
Just through this completely different lens.
You've hit the nail on the head. That's what makes these texts so endlessly fascinating.
Yeah.
They challenge us
Yeah.
to confront our own assumptions
Right.
and think about the world in new ways.
Oh, it's right.
It's like holding up a mirror
Yeah.
to our own humanity.
The more things change, the more they stay the same, right?
Exactly.
It's funny when you think about it.
What's that?
We look at these ancient laws, all these rules,
Yeah.
and we think, wow, things were so different back then.
Right.
But you know what? We're still surrounded by rules today.
Oh, absolutely.
Just not all of them are written down in some ancient text.
That's true.
They're there, though, aren't they?
Oh, yeah.
Shaping our lives in ways we probably don't even realize half the time.
It's true. I mean, just think about it for a second.
Yeah.
We have rules for everything.
Oh, I know, right?
How we dress,
Yeah.
how we're supposed to act,
Yeah.
how we interact with other people,
Right.
what's okay to do in this situation, what's not okay.
Exactly.
I mean,
It's like this whole other language almost.
It is. It's like this invisible script
Yes.
that we're all running around trying to follow
Yes, exactly.
all the time, every day.
And just like those ancient laws in Leviticus,
Yeah.
our modern unwritten rules, like you said,
Right.
they tell us a lot about ourselves, don't they?
They really do. It's like this secret code.
Yeah. What we value, what we're afraid of,
Right.
what we want to be.
It's all reflected in those unspoken codes.
It really is.
It's really fascinating when you start to peel back those layers.
So we're like detectives in a way,
Yeah.
looking for clues about what a society values.
Exactly.
But instead of ancient texts,
Right.
we're looking at their everyday behavior.
Exactly.
Like, why do we feel like we have to dress a certain way for a job interview?
Right.
Or like, why do some social situations make us anxious?
Yeah. Totally.
It really comes down to these unspoken rules that we've internalized, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's like we don't even realize
All right.
how much they're influencing us
And these rules, they change all the time, too.
all the time. That's the thing. What might have been seen as completely normal a few decades ago
Right.
could be totally taboo today.
Totally. So it's like, how do you keep up?
I know, right?
It's this constantly evolving code.
It really is.
And we're all just trying to figure it out as we go.
We're all just making it up as we go along.
It's true. But here's a thought.
Yeah.
If these unwritten rules are always changing,
Right.
does that mean that they're not as powerful
Interesting question.
or meaningful
Okay.
as those ancient formalized laws?
I think it makes them even more fascinating, honestly,
Agree.
because it means that we're actively participating in shaping them.
Oh, wow.
Every choice we make,
Okay.
every interaction,
Right.
we're constantly refining and redefining what's acceptable, what we want to be.
So we're not just following the rules.
Right.
We're actually helping to make them too.
Exactly. We're all part of this massive, ongoing social experiment.
Wow. That's a really cool way to think about it. It's
Isn't it?
like our seemingly ordinary everyday lives are actually this really profound thing
I think so, yeah.
because we're all part of something much bigger than ourselves.
We are.
We're figuring out these rules of how to live together as we go.
Exactly. And just like those Israelites,
Yeah.
trying to understand their place in the world through the laws in Leviticus,
Yeah.
we're also looking for meaning
Yeah.
in the everyday.
That's a really beautiful way to put it.
It's all connected.
It really is, in a way.
What a journey this has been.
I know, right?
From ancient scapegoats
Yeah.
to the invisible rules of today.
Who knew that Leviticus could be so relevant?
Right. And you know what? That's all the time we have for today's deep dive.
Already.
I know. Time flies when you're uncovering ancient mysteries.
It really does.
But the good news is, this is just the beginning.
There's always more to explore. Exactly. So until next time, keep those thinking caps on.
And those rule books handy.
You got it. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, everyone.
Welcome to Charlie and Mia's podcast. We're embarking on an exciting journey to read through the entire Bible in just 1 year. Every day, we dive into Scripture, exploring its meanings and how it applies to our lives today. We invite you to join us on this incredible adventure of learning and discovery. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you never miss an episode.